All right, what's up, guys? I am back with another 12 days of whiskey review. Today is day 2. Um, and today I have one of my favorite bottles of all time. Something that I recommend to people just starting out in bourbon, or even someone more familiar with whiskeys that maybe just hasn't seen or hasn't come across this bottle before. This is Redwood Empire's Lost Monarch. Um, right away, just from the presentation, I love the look of this bottle. I have always liked to have one of these sitting in my bar cart or sitting in my backdrop of the podcast, just because it's such a unique artwork. But that being said, the stuff inside is just as good. So Redwood Empire Lost Monarch, it is a 90 proof Burr rye. I know a lot of people in the whiskey community call a rye bourbon blend Bull rye. I don't get where you get the boor from, because you're not calling it bourbon. It's Burr rye. I've always called it Burr rye, and I will always continue to call it Burr rye. But so yeah, um, a minimum of 3 years. But on their website, it says the bourbon is 4 to 12 years old, and the rye is 3 to 5 year old rye. It blends together really, really well. I'm going to be talking about a couple more Burr rye options leading up to the 12 days of whiskey. And but this is by far the more attainable, especially in Illinois. You should be able to find this bottle at Binny's for $35. And it's about the best $35 bottle of bourbon or whiskey that you could find. Bourbon rye, Burr rye whiskey that you could find. So yeah, I've had a bunch of these bottles for the last like 2 years or so. Shout out Jason, the HBIC, the head bum in charge. He was able to find me the cast strength versions of the Emerald Giant and Lost Monarch. I'm saving those for a different review later on, probably in the beginning of 2023. But for now, let's get into this beauty. The nose, right away, it's rye up front and then bourbon in the back. I get dill, a little bit of citrus. I don't want to say it's like a bad cleaning product, but it's like when your mom or your grandma cleans the house with the lemon orange kind of blend of cleaning products. It's a weird description, probably not the best description. I don't know if Redwood Empire is going to like me saying it's a cleaning product, but in a good way. I really do like the nose. Yeah, I get more rye on the nose than the bourbon, but then in the taste is where it all blends perfectly together. Up front, I get rye spice, a little bit of green tea, like grassy, classic rye notes, black peppercorn. And then there's just a wave of bourbon that is at the end. So the caramel, the vanilla, just the classic bourbon notes kind of hit you once it's down. And I love it. I think it's a great combination for those that maybe don't like rye and you're just getting into bourbon. It's a good way to get into more of that rye palate. Because it's got the best of both worlds. Like I said, the finish is easy. Like I said, it's 90 proof. So I know the bourbon junkies called it a crushable summer whiskey. And I agree with that. But I'm drinking this year round. I don't like using smooth as a descriptor for bourbon, because smooth is very subjective, and my palate is very different than like yours or anyone else. But it's a pretty smooth finish. I will say that there's nothing offensive about it. It lingers for a while. Nice, easy pour. So yeah, I keep telling people to find these bottles. I might regret this in the long run, because I feel like Redwood Empire is a company coming up in the bourbon or whiskey world. They started off a while ago. I actually have a bottle of their original Lost Monarch before they called it Lost Monarch. I've got two of these bottles. This one's unopened. I've got an open one upstairs. So I've been a fan for a while. I've been hoarding these for a little bit, but it's just cool to see someone else besides, the big giant Kentucky companies doing some good whiskey. And I should mention before I let you guys go, for every bottle of any Redwood Empire product you buy, they plant a tree. So that's pretty good incentive to buy a $35 bottle. You're doing good and you're getting a really good bottle. So yeah, that's the second day of the 12 days of whiskey. I'll be back tomorrow with another recommendation. And for now, I'll just leave you with a happy holidays and cheers.